Over the last 9 years, I've ran over 60 ultramarathon races, and there've been some incredible high moments and incredible experiences that I went through during races, after races, in the training sessions, and also a lot of low moments. I got to the point where, I was asking myself, why are you doing this to yourself at least a million times, and probably considered going back and being a tennis player again at least 100 times as well. Saying that, I've never regretted 1 second that I've put into the racing or the training that goes with ultramarathon running, and I would highly recommend for all the runners out there to do an ultramarathon once in your lifetime, because doing one will change you forever and also change your toenails for a long time as well. In today's video, we're going to go through 6 lessons that I've learned over the last 9 years of running and training for ultramarathon races, starting with number 1, which is a long run is key. My best results in ultra races have always come on the back of really good long runs in the lead up to the training. So usually a rule that now I go by is that I want to do at least 3 or 4 weeks before race day. I want to run at least 70% of the distance that I'm going to be racing, or time wise as well. It could work from 70% of the amount of time you're planning to race on race day. If you can, you want to try and do those long training runs as a simulation for the race. So if you can, you want to try and aim and run on similar terrain as what the race is going to be. You want to try and stick to similar maybe paces that you are planning to do the race at. And obviously try and look after your nutrition plan as well. So you start learning a little bit more about your body, how it goes with your planned nutrition and that long run effort. I know that a lot of runners out there are still focused on weekly mileage, but that long run is super important. Making sure that you do get that in the lead up to your race. Few years ago, I ran the Ultra Trail Australia 100K. Well, I wanted to run it. I didn't finish it because in the lead up to the race, I was really focused on my weekly mileage. So I got 4 weeks of 200K a week, doing double runs and doing fairly long runs, a lot of 20 and 30 and 40K runs, but I didn't take that really long run. And when I got to race day, I felt really good till about 50K, where my legs pretty much just didn't have them in them anymore, and I had to DNF, and that's when I kind of really realized the importance of that long run and making sure that you get that long run in the lead up to your race. Number 2 is that the sleep the night before the race is a little bit overrated, and most likely we've all been there before, that the night before the race we're not getting a really good night's sleep. We kind of think to ourselves, all right, race starts at 5 a.m. so I'm going to wake up at 3 a.m. and if everything goes to plan, I should go to sleep at 8 p.m. and that should give me enough time to start the race nice and fresh. But realistically, that hardly ever happens, and you lie there in bed at midnight kind of thinking to yourself, how come I can't fall asleep? How come I can't fall asleep? I've done this yesterday, I've done this the day before, how come I can't fall asleep today? And it's usually a combination of nerves and excitement, and I've done so many races, I still get that feeling. And my focus now is not on the night before the race, but rather making sure that I get a good night's sleep the week leading up to the race. So I know if I can bank a good night's sleep for a whole week, I know that it doesn't really matter what happens on the night before the race, because I have enough hours in the bank to feel okay during the race. And that also means that I'm getting a little bit less pressure on the night of the race. So actually I'm sleeping a lot better, because a lot of the time, the night before the race, you're kind of sleeping and you're thinking to yourself, oh no, I better fall asleep quickly because I need those hours to feel fresh tomorrow. But if you don't have that pressure on you, it's a lot easier to fall asleep and then start the race feeling fresh and ready to take on the distance. Number 3 is that nutrition plans do change over time. So when I did my first 100K race a really long time ago, back in 2013, pretty much all I did is I went online, I researched calories on the go or how many calories I should take. I went down to the running shop, picked up a gel, and I saw it said like consume one every hour or every 45 minutes. So I did that race with 20 gels. And even though I did fairly well, I finished the race not feeling too great. My stomach was on a different planet. You know, I was so high on sugar and caffeine that I couldn't sleep that whole night, even though I just ran for like 12 hours. It's midnight already and, you know, I could not fall asleep till the morning. And that's when I started getting into a little bit more into understanding nutrition. And then more importantly, understanding nutrition and planning for it for races. So what I started doing is actually started writing out my nutrition plan for the upcoming race. And then I would practice that nutrition plan in the lead up long runs that I'm planning to do. And then I'll kind of play around with that. And then also I got to the point that, you know, I'll finish a race, I could look back at my nutrition plan and saying, all right, that race went well. What did I do? All right, let's use that again for the next race. If that race didn't go that well, maybe I need to make some changes in my nutrition plan. So very, very important, if you can, write out the nutrition plan exactly to what you're going to consume, approximately when and how much. So first of all, it makes it clear for you. So during the race, you kind of know what's going to happen with your nutrition. And second of all, so you can learn from it and kind of see over time. And your body will change as you get fitter, as you get stronger. You know, you might need less calories or different things will work for you, or new products will come on the market that might start working for you better than other ones. But as long as you can start putting things down on paper, that way you can start improving, start learning about your body a lot more. And before you know it, nutrition will become a lot easier for you to sustain that energy for longer races. Number 4 is switching your mindset. Obviously, mental strength and motivation are super, super important in the racing, but also more importantly in the training, because the training is in many ways the hardest bit of ultra running. It's getting out there day after day, doing long runs when nobody's not watching, when you don't have a bib on, keeping motivated then is super, super important. And 2 ways that have really helped me over the years is, first of all, asking yourself why you're doing this. Because you're going to get to days where you don't want to go out running. It's raining, it's cold, you just did a long run yesterday. You know you got to do another 12K run today. You want to know what is your why. And we all have different whys. I might be doing it for a sponsorship deal, or to win a race, or, you know, to win the prize money of a race, or to finish, you know, in the top 50 of that race or the top 10. We all have different whys. But it's super, super important that you know what is your why and that you can kind of put it out there whenever you're in doubt of why you're doing this for. Because when you start getting into longer races, there's a lot of low moments, and it's very, very important, or like very useful, if you can kind of, I know why I'm doing this for. You know, for you, it might be I'm trying to lose weight, or I'm trying to reach my first ultramarathon, or I'm trying to break the 10-hour mark in this race, and so on. As long as you know your why, it will make it a lot easier for you to get out there consistently, and then make it all the way till the end. The second part about switching your mindset is changing the word I got to I get to. And I've been doing this for the last year or two, where I changed my mindset. So instead of saying I got to do a 30-mile trail run today, I say to myself, I get to run 30 miles on the trails today. And that little switch just kind of puts things into perspective and makes it a lot easier to get out the door, do another training session, do another run, do another workout, and those things kind of add up. So changing that got to get makes a massive, massive difference. And, you know, even in races where, you know, I'm kind of thinking like this is really hard, I kind of remind myself that I get to do this, and a lot of people don't. So that kind of changes that perspective really quickly for me, and suddenly my motivation levels are up here. Number 5 is practice your hiking. So if you're doing any ultra marathons with a bit of elevation gain in them, most likely you are going to be hiking for big parts of your race. So you want to make sure that you put some time aside and fit hiking sessions into your schedule. I mean, it's nice to kind of think that you're going to run through the whole race, but even the guys and girls that win UTMB are hiking big parts of those races. And most likely, if there are some long hills or long kind of climbing sections in your races, you probably are going to be hiking because they are long races and you want to save your legs. So think about that ahead of time. Don't kind of get to the race and go, well, I'm tired now, I might start hiking all the uphills. Think about that in the lead up and practice those hiking technique, hiking strength. Practice that in your training, so when you do get to the race, you can actually do well in the hiking sections and you can actually overtake people. I remember the first few races that I did in Europe, people were overtaking me hiking, like overtaking me on the climbs while we were both hiking, and I was like, we're both hiking, how come they're hiking so much quicker than me? And once I came back, I did some specific hiking workouts, which can be, hike as fast as you can for 2 minutes or hike as fast as you can for 7 or 8 minutes. Once I started doing those kind of workouts and incorporating that into my schedule, suddenly I got a lot stronger on the hiking sections, and I was actually looking forward to those hiking sections in the races. So don't be scared of putting hiking sections in your workouts, even though they are not as sexy as running uphill, but they'll definitely pay off when you are starting to do those longer races that have a good amount of elevation in them. Number 6 is DNFing is okay. DNF stands for did not finish, and I know that a lot of us out there, are kind of like proud to be finishing races and giving it all so you can kind of make it to the finish line. And I think that's great, and for a long time that was my mindset as well, till I had my first DNF and I could actually step back and have a look at it from the top and realize that I have a lot more races to go. I don't want to kill myself if something's wrong on one race and then miss out on another 6 months of running. So for example, you have some pain in your foot, you still have 50 miles to go in a race, and you kind of, I'm going to be strong through this, I'm going to be a David Goggins.
Stay hard!
I'm going to fight through all this pain and I'm going to walk for the next 8 hours. You get to the finish line, you get your medal and you think, great, I'm so tough, I'm tough as nails. But realistically, you might have cost yourself not running for the next 6 months, and you're going to miss out on 3 or 4 other races that you had planned out. So I really think that DNFing is okay. And I remember that my first DNF was at the Lavaredo race in Italy, a 125k race through the mountains out in northern Italy. And I remember DNFing at 40k and driving back on that bus from the aid station to the finish line and kind of being in tears because I couldn't believe that, I've put all this hard work, all that money to get to the race, and there I was DNFing. But then, 2 or 3 days later, I kind of realized, all right, well, didn't go to plan. I didn't injure myself, and now I can get back into training for the next race. And that kind of made me realize, all right, there is more than just that one single race. There's a lot of races. And especially when I was a sponsored athlete, I knew that there was no point for me walking to the finish line and proving myself that I was tough compared to actually pulling the pin and kind of going, look, it's not my day. My body is not operating the way it should be. Let's stop this here. Let's take away our ego, put that to the side. Let's put our head down, walk to the finish line, or walk to the aid station, not to the finish line, walk to the next aid station, drop out there and start training for the next race. Because it's very easy to kind of think that, you're Superman in your first few ultra races and kind of get to the point that you are running on an injury that's going to get a lot worse and going to affect you for a lot longer than what it should be if you would have stopped a lot earlier. So don't be scared to DNF. Be smart. Look at it as a big picture. You have a lot of years of running in front of you. There's a lot of cool races around the world that you can be doing. You don't want to get to the point that you put all your eggs in one basket, something goes really wrong, and then you're struggling to run after that and race after that. So please, obviously, be safe, but don't be scared to DNF. Whatever you got to do, you got to do. But DNFing is it's okay. Hopefully you got some value out of this video. If you did, smash that like button. It helps the channel a lot and I appreciate your help with this YouTube channel. Also, if you have a chance, check out the video right here. This is how you can fix your own running form on your own. As always, you can also check out what you should check out, Big's Hydration in the description below. That helps me a massive amount, and I'm wishing you an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.